Hey guys, and welcome back to Smartphone Wars. And after you've probably watched my Xiaomi Mi 8 SE unboxing and first impressions and my detailed gaming review I posted yesterday, it's now time to concentrate on other matters of the Xiaomi Mi 8 SE. And as you might have guessed it, it's all down to the camera. So this is my full camera review of the Xiaomi Mi 8 SE. Are the AI cameras really good, and how do they compare with other phones? So the AI cameras on the Xiaomi Mi 8 SE can be turned on by pressing that button in the middle, which is blue on your left, and signals AI. What it does, it applies certain settings to a scene that the camera automatically recognizes, such as food, as you're seeing right here. So you can see the icon turning into a little fork and spoon. There's a few other cases as well, like when there's plants, when there's buildings, when there's people, when it's a sunny day, when it's a rainy day. It would actually change and would apply some filters, and some really look that good. Photos on the Xiaomi Mi 8 SE in good lighting conditions look absolutely amazing. The Sony IMX363 is just as it is. It was a flagship sensor last year and in the beginning of this year, and it shows. In good lighting conditions, this is as good as picture you can take with any phone out there, even really expensive phones. But there is a slight con, and that is the shutter speed. So the camera shutter speed is not very fast. It takes a good 2 to 3 seconds to actually shoot and take the image before you can shoot again. And as you can see here, compared to the Redmi Note 5, which has a similar camera configuration but is using a Samsung sensor, it really isn't that far apart, and the Redmi Note 5 costs around $100 less than the Mi 8 SE. Sure, the Mi 8 SE has other perks, but it's still as a camera phone I'm comparing here. And here's some shots taken with the Meizu E3, which I also reviewed, and you can check that out on my channel as the Redmi Note 5. In good lighting conditions, I would have to say that the Meizu E3 took better photos than the Mi 8 SE did in practically any scenario, and the shutter speed was faster in my opinion. Moving on to outdoor shots, but in less than perfect lighting conditions, and you immediately see details starting to disappear with the Mi 8 SE, and dynamic range not starting to look as good. Still, the photos are very good. This is a $300 to $330 phone depending on where you get it. And as such, it still delivers really good quality sensors, but people probably expecting too much of the Sony IMX363 and will probably think it is the same as the Mi 8 one, which scored really high in the DxO mark. But as you can see here, it's, I think, even worse in low light than the Redmi Note 5 did. Moving on to indoor shots in good okay lighting conditions. Again, the lower the lighting condition goes, the more details seem to disappear. The Mi 8 SE, which is normal, but still people would actually think that the Mi 8 SE uses the same sensor as the Mi 8, and it does, but it uses a higher aperture sensor, and it doesn't have optical stabilization, hence the worst quality the low light situation goes. And even in some cases the detail loss was pretty much, considering the low light situation was not as low light as you would think, as you're seeing here. So really not that best low light performance, and you have to hold the phone very steady to get a really good shot. Otherwise, if you move a little bit, the photos would get blurry from the Mi 8 SE, and this is something I really wouldn't like. And as I said, the shutter speed was slower, and the photo taking was much slower than I was expecting on the Mi 8 SE. And the real problem was that you have to hold it super still to get a really good photo. But when you do, photos are really okay, but they're not much better, and I wouldn't say any better than the Redmi Note 5 in low light, and they are not better than the Meizu E3, which if you hold steadily just took absolutely incredible photos in low lighting conditions. Moving on to portrait shots, the Mi 8 SE is a good upgrade on the Redmi Note 5, which had like a hit and miss portrait shots. Here the algorithm is much clearer. So the second sensor on the Redmi sorry, on the Mi 8 SE is absolutely not used at all. I can cover that up and take portrait shots, no problem. So it's just a gimmick sensor like most Chinese phones out there. And portrait modes are still done via an algorithm and still done very good as they were with the Redmi Note 5, but the Mi 8 SE definitely takes them better because Redmi Note 5 was a bit hit and miss here. And moving on to the front camera, where the Mi 8 SE actually is really good, especially if using that portrait mode in almost any conditions. It will deliver a awesome looking selfie with you as its focal point. Even if you don't use it, the photos are still very good. It's a 20 megapixel sensor, but it's an f2.2 aperture. It's not f2.0 as it's written everywhere, but it's still massively good. This is a really good front camera, even if the angle is a bit more narrower than I would like, but in low light shots as well, as you see me here like playing football or me in the underground parking lot, the details are really good in the front camera, even if like really low light conditions at home. So use that portrait mode. The video quality for me was excellent. The sound was pretty okay, but since there is no optical stabilization, the video is shaky when you walk with the phone, or even the slightest tilt is registered on screen. The low motion at 1080p is 120 fps and it looks really good, but the 240 fps one on 720p experienced a lot of focus hunting and was not really that good. Overall, the Mi 8 SE camera is right on the money. It doesn't punch above, but it doesn't fall down. It's a really good camera phone, but if you're hoping for a Mi 8 camera experience on the chip, you'll be left lacking.